Imagine waking up one morning and your entire life savings, everything you worked for, every sacrifice, every skipped vacation, can no longer buy you a single loaf of bread. That happened in Germany in 1923. A wheelbarrow full of cash for one loaf of bread. Not a metaphor, a literal wheelbarrow. Let's go back to basics, way back. You're 5 years old, you have $1. A candy bar costs $1. Life is perfect. Life is simple. Then one day you walk into the store. Same candy bar, same wrapper, same chocolate, same everything. $1.50. You look at the store owner. The store owner shrugs. That's inflation. Now, you might think, okay, so prices go up a little. Big deal. Grow up, get a raise, move on. But here's the thing nobody tells you when you're 5. Or when you're 40. Inflation isn't just about prices. It's about power. The quiet, invisible, completely legal way that money loses its meaning over time. And sometimes it loses it fast. Very fast. So let's talk about what inflation actually is, why it happens, what it does to real people, and why, spoiler, it's one of the most dangerous forces in all of economics. The pizza theory of money. Let's say there's an island. On this island, there are exactly 10 people and exactly 10 pizzas. Each pizza costs $1. Total money on the island, $10. Total pizzas, 10. Clean, balanced, beautiful. Now the island's king, let's call him King Jerome, decides to print $10 more dollars and hand it out to everyone. Now there's $20 on the island, but still only 10 pizzas. What happens? People start bidding, offering $1.50 for a pizza, then $2. The pizza guy isn't stupid. He raises his prices. The money didn't create more pizza, it just made each dollar worth less. That's the core mechanic of inflation, more money chasing the same stuff. Now zoom out. That island, that's every economy on Earth. But wait. A little inflation is actually good. Here's the twist you weren't expecting. Economists, the people who get paid to argue about this, actually want a little inflation. About 2% per year, the sweet spot. Why? Because mild inflation means people spend money now instead of hoarding it. If you know your dollar will be worth slightly less next year, you'll buy that couch today. That spending fuels businesses, which hire workers, which grows the economy. Zero inflation sounds great. It isn't. When prices stop rising or start falling, that's called deflation. And deflation is where economies go to die. Japan tried it for 30 years. Didn't work out great. So the goal isn't zero inflation. The goal is a slow, controlled, predictable 2%. What could possibly go wrong? Spoiler, everything. 3 ways inflation gets out of hand. Number 1, demand-pull inflation. Too much money, too few goods. The pizza theory. Governments print too much cash, consumers spend like maniacs, supply can't keep up. Classic example, the United States after COVID-19. The government handed out trillions in stimulus. People had money burning holes in their pockets. Factories were still shut down. Supply chains were a disaster. Result? U.S. inflation hit 9.1% in June 2022, the highest in 40 years. Not catastrophic by historical standards, but enough to hurt. Number 2, cost-push inflation. This one sneaks up from the other direction, not because people have too much money, but because it costs more to make stuff. Oil prices spike, a war breaks out, a drought kills the harvest. Suddenly it costs more to make everything. Companies pass that cost on to you. You didn't get richer, you just got poorer. Quietly. Number 3, built-in inflation, the wage price spiral. This is the one that feeds itself. Worker, my rent went up, I need a raise. Boss, Fine, I'll raise your salary. Boss, now my costs went up. I'll raise my prices. Worker, my cost of living went up again. I need another raise. Round and round. Nobody wins. Prices keep climbing because everyone expects prices to keep climbing. Expectations become reality every single time. Now, we've talked about normal inflation. Manageable. Annoying, but survivable. Let's talk about what happens when it breaks. Germany, 1923. After World War I, Germany lost. Badly. The Treaty of Versailles demanded reparations so enormous they basically bankrupted the country. Germany's solution? Print money. Which sounds simple. Which was catastrophic. In 1919, one US dollar bought 48 German marks. By November 1923, one US dollar bought 4.2 trillion marks. Read that again. Trillion, with a T. Prices doubled every 3.7 days. By the end, people were using banknotes as wallpaper, as fuel for fireplaces. A single egg cost 80 billion marks. There's a famous photograph from this era. A woman, burning bricks of currency in her furnace. Not because she was making a point, not as protest art, because the firewood cost more. That's hyperinflation, when the number on the bill stops meaning anything at all. Zimbabwe, 2008. They printed even harder. At peak hyperinflation, Zimbabwe's annual inflation rate hit 89.7 sextillion%. That is an 89.7 followed by 21 zeros. The central bank printed a $100 trillion note. You know what you could buy with a $100 trillion bill? 3 eggs. The entire middle class, teachers, doctors, engineers, people who saved responsibly their whole lives, wiped out. Not by war, not by plague, by a printing press. Venezuela, 2018. A country swimming in oil. One of the largest petroleum reserves on Earth. Inflation hit 1 million% in a single year. Surgeons abandoned hospitals to drive Ubers. PhD holders begged on street corners. People hunted cats and dogs for food. Not ancient history. 2018. 6 years ago. Forget the macro numbers for a second. Here's what inflation actually is at human scale. A retired schoolteacher in Argentina. Worked 35 years. Saved diligently. Has $200,000 in a savings account. Inflation runs at 100% for 2 years. Her savings are worth $50,000 in real terms. Then $12,500. Then $3,000. She didn't spend it. She didn't gamble it. She didn't make bad decisions. She just watched the numbers stay the same while the world around her got twice as expensive. 4 times. 8 times. The cruelest part of inflation isn't that it punishes the reckless. It punishes the careful, the savers, the retirees on fixed incomes, the people who did everything right. Meanwhile, inflation quietly rewards borrowers. If you took out a $300,000 mortgage and inflation explodes, congratulations. You're now paying back that loan with dollars worth half as much. Your debt shrinks in real terms. This is why rich people love real estate during inflation. They borrow in today's dollars, they pay back in tomorrow's cheaper ones. Not fair. So who's supposed to stop all of this? Central banks. The Federal Reserve in the US, the ECB in Europe, the Bank of England. Their job, their whole job, is to keep inflation around 2%. Not too hot, not too cold. Their main weapon? Interest rates. Inflation rising? Raise interest rates. Borrowing gets expensive. People spend less. Demand drops. Prices cool. Inflation too low? Cut interest rates. Borrowing gets cheap. People spend more. Economy heats up. Sounds clean. It's not. Interest rate changes take 12 to 18 months to fully filter through the economy. You're essentially flying a plane where the controls respond a year and a half late. You pull up, and nothing happens. You wait. You panic. You pull up harder. Then suddenly, you're vertical. Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chair, raised interest rates 11 times between March 2022 and July 2023, the fastest tightening cycle since the 1980s. Did it work? U.S. inflation dropped from 9.1% to around 3%. But mortgage rates hit 8%. The housing market froze. Small businesses paying variable rate loans got crushed. The people who needed cheap credit the most got priced out. There is no clean solution to inflation. Every cure has side effects. Every intervention creates a new problem somewhere else. The job of a central banker is essentially stop the patient bleeding out, without giving them a heart attack from the medication. Good luck. Here's the truth about inflation that economists don't like to say at dinner parties. Inflation is a tax. A hidden one that never needs a vote in Congress, one that affects everyone, especially those who can least afford it. When a government prints money to pay its debts, it is, in effect, taking a small slice of value from every dollar in existence, from every savings account, every pension, every paycheck, not through a bill, not through legislation, through dilution. It's the oldest trick in the book. Roman emperors did it by shaving silver off their coins. Medieval kings did it by adulterating the gold. Modern governments do it with printers and spreadsheets. The technology changed. The trick didn't. So the next time your grocery bill is slightly higher, the next time your rent goes up and your salary doesn't quite keep pace, the next time you feel vaguely, inexplicably poor without being able to say exactly why, that's inflation doing its job. Quietly, patiently, invisibly, taking just a little, every single year. Inflation is the one form of taxation that can be imposed without legislation. Milton Friedman.